Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Chase and Jay Show. Tonight, our guest from the Mile Monsters, Mr. Riot, Mr. Setzer. Thank you for joining us tonight. And always, my co-host, or I'm the co-host. I don't know. His name's first on the bill. Chasing Adventures and myself.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, well, Jay, I think that's just because we decided that alphabetical was the most fair way to do everything. You know,
I mean, I'm fine with it.
We do have chat all on top of Mr. Iceman's face here.
Yeah,
we might need to remove. We're not used to having double screen.
Hey, I know comic relief when I see it.
Yeah, that's one way to keep his looks off the from bringing your ratings down. Space covered up.
So I was telling them, Jay, I don't even know why this started. We started wearing hats, and it's like a different hat every week, which we kind of rotate around. But I was like, Setzer's in Texas, so I'll throw on the cowboy hat. And then I was like, you know what? This reminds me of the Do Epic Shit hat that I asked about 2 years ago. Mr. Iceman here assured me was going to be restocked, and I look like once every few months, and it's just never there. And he told me to blame you, Riot. He told me to blame you.
I hear you need to be talked to about it. I brought it up.
There's usually two people to blame, but we're both together now. So we have a girl named Frosty that helps us out with everything, and that's her thing.
Frosty's fault.
So he's like, all right, you got to go hunt down Frosty and find that.
Get her on. You can yell at her, but that. And right now she's at home going, "Hey, wait a minute, what the hell?"
Yeah,
she's like, I don't have anything to do with any of that.
Why are you throwing the bus at me?
Yeah, we've got the chat over here. We've got Stiff Rides, who wasn't sure if he was going to stick around. Winroad, how's it going? My wife, Sarah, over there. Mrs. Adventure 479, of course, checking in.
No. For the next hour, Mrs. Adventure is our wife.
Oh, okay. I see. I gotcha. And then we've got Boots Roots. Say hi. I'm not sure if that's one of y'all's friends or one of our friends.
Yeah, that's Boots Routes.
Okay, there you go.
Stuff down in Alabama.
See, now we've got the chat, the bigger chat off of Iceman's face here. I can't read it because I'm blind, so I'm gonna do that. There you go. And of course, Mr. Road Reality, how are you today, sir?
What's up, John?
Let's see what it looks like that. There we go.
Yeah, we can pop them up. We just got to remember. So you guys, Mile Monsters. Now, Riot, are you sort of the proprietor of the Mile Monsters?
I sure am. I started it 5 years ago, 2021.
5 years ago. Okay, you want to give us like a little bit of a breakdown of what you guys do so that our normal audience knows?
Sure. What we do is epic shit, and what we try to do is raise money and awareness in a fight against DMD, which is Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's a horrible form of muscular dystrophy. It affects boys typically, and it is 100% fatal. So we try to provide the kids, we call them heroes, but we try to provide these boys with anything and everything they need to live their best life, whatever that is. So if that's a van, if that's a trip, if that's treatments, whatever it is, we just try to step up and raise money to get them whatever it is they need. So we don't have a set thing. It's not like we just do one thing. And we're kind of, I tell people we're kind of like a biker version of Make-A-Wish. We just don't have the goddamn rules. So it's like we don't say no. So if a kid wants to shoot a machine gun, man, we're gonna find a machine gun and we're gonna take him out. He wants to jump out of a plane, I'm gonna take him up in a plane and chuck his ass right out of there. So whatever it takes, whatever their dreams are, we just try to make that happen.
And it's pretty, I gotta say, it's pretty funny too, because like, the things that Mile Monster does for kids is not, nowhere near in the scope of normal, just like he said, if you want to shoot a machine gun, there'd be a board and there would be decisions, and he's already loading the gun,
Rules in my life were always more like kind of guidelines. So now I don't really think much of them. So if a kid has a terminal disease, he wants to do something, we're going to sure as shit make that happen. And if somebody thinks that's wrong, then I really don't give a shit. We just do it.
Agreed.
Awesome. Yeah, as I say, Jason, you've done at least one iron butt with one of the heroes, right? I don't know if there's more or if more.
No, that wasn't me. That was Hopper. Hopper did an iron butt with Gavin.
Okay.
And that's what that ride actually got Gavin, the goat. He's got an actual IBA number, and so they did that on the way up to Lebanon in 24? I guess we did the
yeah, June of 24.
Yeah, and so how many kids do you guys work with?
We have 7 kids that we help that are in our hero program, and then there's, a few times a year we reach outside of that and help certain kids that have hit us up or need something, or Christmas time we usually do something for other kids. So it's kind of varies, but we have 7 that we really focus on.
And how many Mile Monsters are there?
Hundreds. We don't have a set number, but there are hundreds of monster riders across the country, around the world, really.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Worldwide.
And then there's mega monsters, and then there's monsters. So there's and there's different amounts of each. I was trying to think about that the other day, how many there are.
Yeah, I think there's like 50 mega monsters, and mega monsters are somebody who's ridden 10,000 miles for fundraising. They've raised $10,000, or they just have done something truly epic, for the boys, something really above and beyond. Like Iceman here, he was a mega monster. Easily he's done all kinds of miles for the kids and raised all kinds of money and really been influential in making their life so much better. It's just kind of fun to be a biker who's spent our whole lives, not just mine, but like Iceman, our whole lives raising hell and doing all kinds of stupid shit, and then to think that I was only building a skill set to help children.
It's for the children.
Yeah, I was like, I never would have thought that possible, but it sure is. It sure is awesome to do it,
And it's got to be nice to have somewhere to focus that energy that you're going to have anyway. For y'all to set up something like that to reach out and help young men, predominantly young men or kids, and to be able to focus that into something, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's really makes it special and really, really fun to do, and really makes it, worthwhile. There's a lot of risk to the stupid shit we do, and a lot of, the Hokahay a couple of years ago, I think we had 18 bikes that got, there was, I think 7 bikes that got totaled just out of our group. And I think 18 had some damage, so there's some serious risk involved with how we do things. And when you see that, raising money to get a kid a ramp on his house so he can get out, or to see a kid, that so we can fly him across the world, around the world, to go see Gene Simmons on stage, like that.
Yeah.
That shit just makes everything I've ever done, Iceman and all the other monsters, is so worth it. It's just, I just laugh at risk. If that's what I get, I'll take that chance any day.
Well, and then furthermore with that, throughout my entire life, I've been, in some capacity, you give your $5 to this charity or whatever it is, you can see firsthand what's going on with Mile Monsters. Every dollar that comes in, you can see where that goes to these kids, and you can actually see the impact that it has. And that is just addicting, as a rider, as somebody that's involved with Mile Monsters. It's, I was talking with somebody here not too long ago, Smarty, actually, with Suspended by Smarty. Him and his wife, they came up to the bash. They've been supporters of Mile Monsters for a long time, but they came up to the bash here in September it was. And when he got back, he was just like, he called me and he says, I'm hooked. He was like, you could just, we had, so once a year we try to get the kids together and have a big powwow, right? And so the bash this year was that powwow. And so we got all the kids, we flew the kids and the families and a lot of monsters that came out. And so one day, Riot's got a wheelchair that's on tracks like a Bobcat, Yeah. And then so that wheelchair will go anywhere, And then so these kids are jumping in it, and the Shriners are out there with their little Jeeps, and man, it was just such a blast, And I mean, if that doesn't fire you up, man, nothing will. But like he had said, he's like, man, being there and seeing it, he's like, I'm hooked. What's next? So it's real easy to, I think, it's real easy to get hooked.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, it's funny, Jason. Like, we've known each other for over 2 years, right? And I have honestly we've never had a discussion about Mile Monsters, just sitting around, talking about it. So I'm like, oh, I'm learning things. This is great.
Yeah, it's rewarding, and the kids love it too, man. Who doesn't? We have kids young as 5 and up to 18. So, if you're 7 years old, what's better than 50 bikes pulling up, raising hell, and doing burnouts, and throwing you on the back, and one of the boys, Gavin, lives in Texas, and we would take him out riding. Well, we'd lane split, ride on the shoulders, do all kinds of,
only in Mexico though.
Yeah. And then, and then we laugh and we just told him we told Gavin the shoulder is a motorcycle lane. That's just there for motorcycles during traffic, and it's just called the motorcycle lane. So that kid just thinks that
he knows no better.
When we were filming the movie where Iceman filmed it, and we were at a dealership, and somebody goes, well, how was traffic in Dallas? And I looked across the dealership and I said, hey, Gavin, how was traffic? What did we do when traffic got bad? He's like, we hit the motorcycle lane. Like,
yeah. What else would we do?
Yeah, exactly. And then,
it's easy.
And he was riding on the back with me one time, and we're riding on the shoulder and dipping into lane splitting and doing whatever. And there was motorcycles sitting in traffic, just dead stop traffic. A guy and his wife on 2 separate motorcycles, and we go by him, and Gavin looks. He goes, "Why aren't they using the motorcycle lane?" I said, I don't know. I'll have to ask him sometime. I don't know why. I don't know why anybody sits in 100-degree heat. So I don't know. Pretty good.
Yeah, and you guys. So I've many people know this story, I suppose, but I met Jason at Stubborn American in 2023. Just by chance, we were tent camping, and you guys popped up a tent next to us. The 6 of you. We kind of got to talking, hanging out, everything like that, and we had some drinks. Was that Friday night, I believe? We had some drinks, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go do a ride tomorrow morning. Do you want to come? Whatever." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So we had more and more drinks and stayed up rather late. And I woke up and I was like, you know what? I committed to doing this. I'm going to get my ass out of the tent and go ride with these guys who I had just met hours beforehand. So we get going, and right out of the gate in Mexico, we went from K River to Mexico really quick. And it's like I am hungover, and I'm just on the speed governor on my BMW, just ding, 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 whatever. And I'm like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
Chaos and nonsense is what you got yourself into by saying yes.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we got another one. He's going to follow us. All right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And they were just like, all right, just pin it, we'll go. So that was kind of my introduction to you guys. And of course we stuck around, and, we chatted afterwards, and we've been chatting ever since, really off and on for the past couple of years.
Good times.
Coming from the guy who I'm assuming you still hold the Mexico world record of fastest saddle sore 1,000, fastest 1,000 miles in a day.
Yeah, nobody's broke it yet.
Was it 10 hours and 41 minutes?
Something like that. I think it's somewhere in there. Somewhere.
Yeah. I saw somebody
It was funny about that ride. Simultaneously, I got a record, and I got the new record in one organization, and almost got kicked out of another.
Yeah, they're not super big on that sort of thing. Yeah, I saw somebody post something yesterday about how Florida, I think was it Florida, was making basically going triple digit speed like an actual felony, and I was thinking about you, and I was like, oh man, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, those states try to make it a felony, but it never sticks. It always gets beat in court. But they got super speeders down there that are pretty brutal in Florida. $1,200 for a super speeder.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's usually never about safety and well-being. It's about money and revenue. So that's how I feel about it.
Uh-oh.
If there's a fine attached to breaking the law, then that means it's legal for a fee.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's legit
nice.
too.
Yeah.
That's so true.
But if they look, your heads up, if they hit you with the blues in Arkansas, pull over because they changed the laws on the running in Arkansas. So if they do hit you with the blues, just go ahead and ease on over. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I got stock Harley. My running days have come and gone.
All right.
You run and the guy's like, "Are you stupid?"
I got pulled over the other day. I was doing Hops Rally. I got pulled over, and the same thing always happens whenever I get pulled over at night. This is how it goes. I come over, like I'll come over a hill or they'll come over the hill, and we're the only two people on the road. And it's like once I see headlights, my radar detector goes off. I start grabbing brakes and jamming gears, and then the lights come on. It's like just that fast. That's how it always goes down. So this last time that happened, I'm coming over this hill, and I'm like, oh shit, and so like, I grabbed and slowed down as fast as I could, and so I seen him light it up. I just pulled over. He didn't even like he had to speed up to like turn around to get behind me. I was already pulled over. He was like, well, thank you for and I was like, yeah. And then the guy slow rolled me. He's like, so what's going on? And I told him, and I was like, I was like, I have a sales pitch that I like to go into.
All right.
That usually is, I don't just lead with it. I mean, I got to be feeling it,
Yeah.
And I was feeling it, and he was like, oh man, that's awesome. That's really awesome. That's great. And then I leaned into, well, I'm a charity writer, and he's like, no kidding. All right, well, I'm going to write you a ticket. I was like, oh, man, give me my shit back. Give me my sticker.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't get it down now.
What?
Can't get it down now. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, I think what are they called? Participation trophies? Is that what Hop calls them?
Performance.
Yep. Performance
awards.
Performance awards. Yeah.
Performance driving awards. Yeah.
Yeah. Performer.
I think so.
I talked myself out of one of those the other day.
And so you guys and your crazy hooliganism, knock on wood, I haven't gotten pulled over in like a decade. So I don't know what y'all are doing.
Really?
Damn, I got pulled over. I think I was only at like 5 times this year, but last year I think I got pulled over. Was it last year or the year before? I got pulled over 23 times. I think last year I got pulled over 6.
Did you just get one real recently?
Yeah, this is.
Iceman, I don't think they're meant to be trophies, sir.
Those are for this year. Well, I was saving them because I was doing 100K this year, and then that blew up in my face. But
Can you write those off on your taxes?
Yeah,
the accountant.
Yeah, right.
The tickets are the expensive part.
Business
Probation, that's the expensive part.
Well, see, Your Honor, I had to get these tickets so that I could write them off for my charity.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Yeah, that's what
Makes complete sense to me.
Jason doesn't. He doesn't print off his like IBA certificates and hang on the wall. He's just got tickets,
Right.
lining the wall.
Big map with a pin stuck in each one where he got them at.
Yeah.
No doubt. Some of them I'm on a gold plate. I'm like, that one was expensive.
And if you look here in the Northeast, I've got a hole.
I don't have a hole from up there. I'll tell you that. I live in Jersey. I got the Northeast covered for you.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys need to do a combined Mile Monsters map of tickets. So it may just be all the things in the United States, possibly, depending on how many people there are. But yeah, so Road Reality had asked about the Botox, so I've got to do it because it's a fun story. So this was the day after the ride, right? Oh, why is that? Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's my bike.
There we go.
Oh.
So I believe this was Saturday night. I believe we did the ride Saturday morning and then came back and they had the mini bike race and everything. And then I volunteered to do the burnout drag judging while you your tents and Sarah here, you introduced her to what's it actually called? A Bota box?
Beatbox.
Beatbox. That's right.
And it wasn't me who introduced my sister-in-law. He was drinking one, and so I was like, she goes, "Hey, have you ever had one of these?" And it was like, it's got some kind of wine or something. It's like some kind of, I don't know. And so I was like, "No, let me, So I took a swig of it, and I was like, "That's pretty nice. That's pretty good, And I said, "Do you got any more?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, I'm going to run to the store real quick, and I'll just get some more." And so when I get up there, I get into the cooler, into the freezer, and they don't sell them by the case or by the packs or anything. They sell them all individually. And then there's a reason for it. Come to find out later. And
It's
so
ghettos.
I take one of these cartons and I dump all the shit out of this carton, and I took all the ones that they had of that flavor. And so I go up to the front with this big thing of these beat boxes, and I said, "Hey," I noticed y'all don't have any cases of these back there. He goes, "Yeah, we don't sell them by the case. Nobody's ever wanted to buy them by the case." I was like, "Oh, whatever," didn't think of nothing of it. Well, these damn things have like 12% alcohol. And so I had no idea, And so I get back, and then I have all these freaking beat boxes. And then so my sister-in-law was like, "Jesus, Jason, what are we going to do with all these?" And I was like, "I thought you wanted some." She's like, "Yeah, like 2, 3 maybe." I had a whole, my whole motorcycle was full. Anyways, so I started passing them around. And then so your wife was in the crosshairs there. I'm like, "Hey," I said, these I think they're pretty good, so have one. And then that was it. Both of our mouths were red. Drink these damn wine things all freaking night. Oh my God.
I tasted one, or she gave me a sip of hers, and I was like, "That's one." It's that percentage where you're like, "Yeah, I can taste that this has alcohol in it." This is not hidden by the flavor of the fruitiness.
Yeah,
and
instant heartburn for me, but you got to push through that shit.
Yeah, I believe she was in bed in the tent by like 8 p.m. Like it was like she had 2 or 3 of those plus whatever else we've been drinking, and it was like bedtime.
So Botox came from, but I didn't know what they were called. And I was calling them Botox all night. Hey, let me have another one of those Botoxes. And so I was getting some funny looks.
Hey, they do make the wrinkles disappear.
Yeah. They do.
Just all the people you look at after you.
It makes everybody else's wrinkles disappear.
Yeah, I think while I was off doing something else, you were sending me like the world's worst phone videos of you guys like hammered in your camp chairs, just like, "Hey, we're like hanging out, it's great." I'm like, "What in the fuck are y'all doing?"
It was brutal, man. Dude, I tell you what. So right next to Vicky there, that gal that's next to all of us,
making the awesome face. Yeah,
that's Amy. That's Kyle's wife. So Amy, she introduced me to this bottle. So she's got these pills, these little purple pills, and she's like, "You're probably going to need some of these," And I'm like, "What are those?" And she's like, "Well, these are hangover pills. You don't." No, not mushrooms. They're these keep you from getting hangover, And I was like, "Oh, cool," So I popped the top and I, ate the bottle, and I handed the bottle back to her, and she goes, You're not supposed to eat them all." You handed them all to me. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Yeah, so
you're pretty big.
And I got to say, they worked. I didn't have a headache the next day, but I was feeling some kind of way, man. Holy shit. That was a bad night.
I'm just hearing through all this that he just does not understand moderation and just goes all in with everything he does,
A case of Botox and a bottle of pills. We couldn't have us a night.
Yeah.
And then he's like shocked that he feels a little bit off.
Right.
Like I felt a little, but not really hungover, but not quite right. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. As he's in a gutter, naked, staring at the dirt.
Yeah. These were all very good observations, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo.
You handed at it, Jason. So I think, did both of you guys have 100,000 mile years planned this year?
No, he did his last year.
You did yours last year, okay? And
you did his last year.
Yeah. And Jason, you were working on it and got hurt. When did you get hurt? Was that like May, June, April? Okay.
Yeah.
And you were like 30 some odd thousand, and I think you said you finished with 51 something thousand.
Yes, all that sounds.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like open the wound. I just, I mean, shit, 51,000 miles in a year as a, oops is a pretty good year.
Yeah,
No kidding.
Yeah, it's funny to think about, because we just talked to Pat a couple weeks ago, and then we talked to Dewey, who did that like 2.5-year Central South America thing, and it's like, just for perspective, what's Jay? You may know this. What's the average amount of motorcycle or miles that a motorcyclist rides in the U.S. per year? Is it like 3,000 to 5,000 miles, something like that?
Yeah, I'd heard like 5. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
3,000?
I don't think it's 5. I think it's 3,500.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And I mean, let's see. For perspective, Jason, how many? You did a Saddle Source 6K that I think I saw.
Yeah, I did one of those this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And right, what's your longest sort of single trip?
I did a 20.
I guess the Hoka Hay is probably like 10 or 11 by itself, right?
Yeah, I did 20. Last year I did several long trips, but I had a 20,000 miles in 20 days. I had 17,000 in 18 days. And I think I had another one of 15,000 in 14 days, something like that. So, yeah, some stupid miles.
Yeah.
What's an irreplaceable piece of gear for a long ride? What's something that, I'm just not leaving the house unless I have this?
Wild ass.
I was gonna just say, took it right out of my mouth. My wild ass seat topper. There's nothing. Anything else I can get by without, or I can buy it on the road.
Yeah,
that is something you can't get on the road. I guess one time I did get it on the road. They met me somewhere. That's how I met them face to face. But that is hands down, and it's one of the few things that survived 100,000 miles.
Yeah,
like when I rode 100,000 miles, my Legend suspension held up for 100,000 miles on 3 different bikes. I switched it every time I switched bikes. I switched the suspension, and my Wild Ass, and I thought there was one other thing, but that's really it. That everything else I wrecked: the bikes, the gear, helmets, you name it. Just 100,000 miles is a lot of miles. A lot of. I mean, I really have a lot more respect for anybody who's done 100,000 miles in a year after I did it than I did beforehand, because it turns into a job. It's just relentlessly long to do. So, but it was fun too. You get to see a lot of the country when you put 100,000 miles on.
Helmet of choice. What's y'all's helmet of choice? Speaking of which,
I wear a Climb. I have some past injuries, so I want the lightest helmet that's a modular, and that's a Climb. Carbon fiber. You can open it up to eat, drink, do whatever you got to do, but closes up nice. I have my phone hooked in it, obviously, but that's my helmet choice. And they have the shield tints automatically, so I don't have to change shields. That was my biggest problem when I wore a Simpson. They looked badass, but every time it got dark, you had to pull over and change the shield. Yeah, that's fine if I'm going to the bar, but when I'm competing or we're doing something that just 20 hours I got to ride, that just sucks to have to stop and change a shield. So wasn't doing that.
Yeah, I have a Neotech 2 that I use, a Shoei, and it's I really like the helmet, but it's I noticed it does gets a little heavy there for a little while.
I couldn't with your helmet on. I couldn't ride to the fucking store and back with that thing. It weighs so much. Like, I took it off his bike and I was like, "Holy shit, man! You got a neck like a football player." It's like a wheelbarrow full of concrete, and he puts it on his head and rides all day. Gadgets hooked to it, cameras hooked to it. The thing is already a fucking cinder block, and now he's got a bunch of shit added to it. I'm like, dude,
I put a liner inside of it, a noise dampening matte liner inside of it. So there's
it's even heavier.
Yeah, it's
is that something you rigged up, or is that something that exists?
What's that?
Is that something you rigged up, or is that something you can just buy off the shelf?
Well, I bought it off the shelf, but it's pretty thick. It's not made for a helmet. It's not made for the inside of a helmet. It's on top of that.
All the time I've spent on Google looking at random crap, I can't believe I haven't found the noise dampener for my Neotech,
Yeah.
No, right. You are right. Like, for some, I am lucky in that I have a 17 and a half inch neck that just like, for some reason can do it. But you have to get used to a Neotech. You really do, especially if you have camera shit on it. Like, if you're not used to iron butting on it, like it will wear you out.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, I was doing the Hops Rally here this last weekend, and I started the rally with the camera on my chin. So in 30 hours, I did right at 1,500 miles, and I did 87 stops. And so there's a lot of getting on and off the bike. And so it was probably, I don't know, I was probably about 8 hours in, and I was like, this sumbitch is coming off. Right. I was like, I'm done with this thing. Once it started getting a little dark, I'm like, you don't film at night anyway. And I was like, this is coming off. And so the next morning I was like, and it ain't going back on either.
That's kind of why I switched to the 360 on the handlebars, is just because I hate having a camera hanging off my face, Yeah. And so just being able to film forward and backwards at the same time with one camera that's not on my face is real nice. It has changed my camera life, that's for sure.
What do you do about audio?
I have a DJI Mic 2 like receiver on the camera, and then a wireless mic in the helmet.
Gotcha.
I'm not that advanced. I usually put cameras on, and then I forgot to put them on. I lose them or something. So I think I'm on I lost my latest 360, so this will be my third one in 13 months. So I don't even going to get another one. Like, I don't know. Hey. My wife might have to get a second job with all my stupid fuckery that goes on.
I mean, right? If you just want to buy one and mail it to me, I mean,
I might as well. At least they'll go to a good home. I lost a GoPro and camera all within a month last year. Is like, oh my god,
that makes you feel sick too. It's like, man, there goes $500.
Yeah, exactly, $500, and then the footage you have.
That's
like I just get pissed when it happens.
Sarah knows I just have like a wish list that like when I have enough beers on a night, I'm like, there's like that one little accessory I want. So I just have like an entire file cabinet full of camera shit, No, you brought up a good thing, right? So Wild Ass. So I just met them actually at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue this year for the first time. I've been using a Wild Ass for a year and a half, or maybe going on 2. But now a lot of folks act like, it's not like a magical cure. If you're used to riding, 100 miles a day and you throw a Wild Ass on your seat, you're probably not going to be able to do a, saddle sore because of it necessarily, but it does just make the seat not a problem, like it really does. Like if you're used to riding decent distance and you throw a Wild Ass on there, like you're just going to stay comfortable for the rest of it, Yeah, it's awesome. And like say, what do we got? Oh yeah, there you go. Road Reality with this.
You can see it in people when they don't have one. You can see it in their seat, how they sit and how they move around. When we're riding long distance, I can look around. If somebody doesn't have a Wild Ass, I'll see them, they're moving in their seat, trying to get comfortable, and everybody has it, is just chilling. So it's definitely something you got to have. I think.
And like I've got probably, let's see here, I've got about $4,000 worth of seats in my garage. A lot of them are brand new, and it's like, because you think, this seat's going to be the one, and they never are. Like I buy a seat that's going to put me in the right position because I'm kind of tall. So like once I get in the right position, it could be as hard as rocks. It doesn't matter because I'm gonna put my Wild Ass on it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Coming up my way. That BBB is like my hometown. So that's why I was so stoked, because we normally get the like Clockworks or the the normal Harley stuff, which I'm like, I ride a BMW and a Triumph, so there's never anything at rallies for me, when it comes to that stuff. So seeing the Wild Ass tent there, I was like, oh, we got somebody I know. I'm gonna go hang out with them for a while, and got to talk. And I do, Jason, I know you tagged them in that post. I do plan. I've been sussing out how to make the iron butt on the Triumph Bobber actually feasible. So we're once the weather gets good, I'm not going to throw a bunch of Clearwater lights and shit on it. So I'm going to wait till we have long days, but
be a man, ride it out.
I'm already kind of blind. And after that ride around Arkansas with my busted wheel bearing and the the people trying to murder me and then the animals trying to murder me. I was just like, there's no way I can ride a bike without 17 lights on the front of it. You know,
There's no such thing as nighttime if you have quality lights on.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
It's
it was,
daytime in front of you. The sun's always rising ahead of you. It's just getting dark behind you.
Right, right.
Yeah, you might have some
Actually-
pissed off people passing you, but
yeah.
they come and they go.
You saying that actually, at least for me, I would say another required thing. I could not do the kind of night riding that I do without good lights. Like there is no way I could ride all night or ride overnight or do whatever without having a pile. I mean, I have Clearwater lights. You, Jason, you use Denali's, right?
Yeah.
Right. What do you use?
I use Tractor Supply lights.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see. Here we go. We've got it. Right. Wait. Why does that keep showing the wrong thing? There we go.
Yeah, if you look there, those are Tractor Supply, $86.
Oh wow. Yeah, you got some big old square dudes on there.
Yeah, I love them because I can adjust them super easy. So when I go down the interstate, my left one is straight ahead and my right one is off to the right. And if I'm on country roads, I can do it with my foot. I can just adjust them a little bit and then I fan them out or put them straight ahead. And but you know, they don't last. They're Denali's, Clearwaters. I'm thinking about putting those on my next bike because these just don't last. You know, I went through 2 sets and 100,000 miles. And when they got wrecked and they let water inside of them, it wrecked my stator and my regulator from having those get. So it, you know, my warranty covered that, but I'm sure that's what it was. You know, every time you're turning them on, man, you're drawing crazy amps because there's water floating around in there. And somebody tuned me into that, how that works. And I was like, once Wrong Way told me how that works, I was like, yeah. And my lights are all foggy. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't use those. I go, yeah, they're not as bright. He goes, I wouldn't turn them on. You're going to wreck something. I'm like, oh, like my stator? And the regulator? He goes, yeah, you'll wreck those. I go, I could have used that advice 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
Man, buy some quality lights next time. Get them from Harbor Freight like the rest of us.
Yeah, come on now.
Exactly.
No, good lights ain't cheap, but I mean, Clearwater just has straight up replaced mine when they had an issue, you know, and they do their thing. And, you know, for 3-inch pods, I only have Darlas and they're like, 4,000 lumens or something like that. You know, it's like, it's plenty of light for me. So it's good stuff. But yeah, lights, wild ass. I would say, Jason, at least, right? Do you have an auxiliary tank on your bike? I didn't.
I don't have it in that picture. I didn't use it then. I do have one.
Yeah, I was creeping on your Facebook.
He's in that picture. That picture, he's got one.
Does he?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, it is on that one.
Yeah, right underneath his roll.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. I've never seen. That's an interesting shape. I don't guess I've seen one like that.
Yeah, that one's all custom made by Lincoln Seal.
Yeah, Lincoln Seals made that. I love that because this is when it was new. This picture here. And I was just trying it out, and you can see I got gear on there for camping, and really that was a long trip. But since then, I really dialed it in, and underneath the tank, when I don't have my seat on there, I can put all my camping gear underneath there. So it really works. It really works good. He's making me a new bracket right now, and it's pretty spot on. So I'd like that.
Who's covering faces now?
Well, I was trying to pop up the chats about the stuff we were talking about. Listen.
That's all right. Yeah, snack bags. That's Frosty. That's that's the girl I was blaming on the other stuff, but she's.
Frosty's the one who got my hat held hostage. Yeah,
It's Frosty's fault.
Yeah.
But
no, it's true. Like that's it. Being able to eat, drink, do whatever you want to, like on the road, saves you so much time at stops. Like when you can just like stop, gas up for 3 minutes, and keep going, it's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There's times I'll ride 20 hours a day and I don't stop and get anything for 3 days. I stop, I buy a gallon of water every day, and that's it. You know, she'll get on that. Yeah,
Frosty, it's the do epic shit or epic shit hat. Make sure we DM me. We'll talk about it.
I'll make sure that happens. I think I might have one here. I don't know how to get up to go find it, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, sure. Just rub it in. Why don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. He's like, oh, I've got to stack up them over here. Is that what you're looking for?
Breaks out the whole box.
Yeah, he's got the Pringles sleeve of hats that I've only.
Sorry, these are all spoken for. You can't have none. But I've got 20 of them.
So, Jay, we have our a little bit of our format. I will say we didn't get into it, but so what made you start Mile Monsters, and what was kind of the influence around that specific condition that sort of turned you onto that?
Well, when I was going to do my first Hokahay back in 2018, and they want you to ride for a charity. And at that time, my sister was battling breast cancer, and I thought about doing it for that. And a guy I used to work with, his son has DMD, and I didn't know that much about it. And when I realized how bad it was, that it was terminal and just kind of shitty, I was like, you know what? The kid needs somebody to get his name out there. So I decided to do that. And my original plan, I was just going to do one Hokahay and sell that bike and get back to life. And I did it, and I did pretty well during the Hokahay, and I did pretty well with the fundraising. So I decided the next year to do some more stuff for DMD. And then I just kind of fell in love with the kids, to be honest. And, like I coached high level sports. My son is a phenomenal athlete. My daughter played sports, and I coached everything. And when you get to that, I just thought it was so shitty that these kids don't have an opportunity to play t-ball. Don't get a chance to play baseball, wrestle, football, all the things I coached and I loved so much as in playing them myself as a kid, and especially coaching, my son and his teams. So I just got attached to it, and then started doing more and more. And in the Hokahay 2020, I was talking to K Solo, and he's like, dude, like, you're so good at the fundraising end of things, and you're crazy. People like epic shit you do, and the way you go about it. So he's like, you should really start a nonprofit. So I kicked that around, and all fall of 2020, and then 2021 January 1st I decided back in November, but come January 1st it was official, and we launched it. And it was really, it's really been a grassroots effort. It was just riding and coming up with some things. And Hopper did 100,000 miles that year, and got the name out there a lot more. Excuse me. And it's just grown. And every year we pick up key people that, and you know how it is, you don't need 1,000 people, you need 10 really good ones.
Yeah.
And then the rest follow along. I would rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. That old analogy. And, I like people that are more my style. I'm not much on rules. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was the year.
Yep.
There you go.
And that was us kicking it off. But, I thought it would be hard for me to find a group of people that like to ride like I do, because I ride quick. I've I don't know how else to put it, but I like to ride fast. I don't like to dick around doing the speed limit and following a bunch of stupid rules. They're all guidelines, and I like that. And I spent a lot of time in motorcycle clubs and that kind of thing. And so getting with these Mile Monsters is like, I found that there's people around the country, around the world, that have massively big hearts, but they're wild and fun, and that is such a draw to me, to hang out with all these people that want to do the same shit I want to do. They want to help these kids. They want these kids to live their best life. And in the meantime, let's do crazy shit to get it done, and that is really, really cool,
Right. Hog chapter.
Yeah, my hog chapter. Yeah, I'd never been on I'll just tell the story quick. I've never been in a hog group. I don't know jack shit about hog chapters other than they ride slower than I do. So we were going to go on a ride to a church, to go to church on Sunday during a ride this October. And we were going from San Antonio to Houston. And I told everybody, like, this is going to be like a hog chapter ride. We got 20 bikes. We're not going to be, lane splitting and doing stupid shit. We're just going to go as a group and, change lanes and everything, but we're going to go there and we're going to do it pretty good. And I don't know, I was just riding. I wasn't even paying attention. And people were talking about, rev limiters going off, and we're doing 108, 105. And I was like, and somebody goes, I was doing 110 to keep up. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how fast. I didn't even pay attention how fast we were going. We're just cruising down the highway. There was no traffic. I thought, what a nice day to go to church.
Beautiful day.
That was just a nice ride to church. So everybody's like, if you start a hog chapter, I'm joining a hog group. I'm going to be a chapter from now on. And that was like our, what was that? Our third or fourth day of riding pretty.
Is that this one?
Yeah. Yep. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
What a badass
That's a cool picture.
Yeah, that photo was taken by Chase, Iceman's son, and he does all of our photography. And that picture captures so much; it's just insane to when I look at that. It's really cool. I mean, we're doing a good clip right there, and you can see Gavin on that picture, and it's just a line of bikes of people taking their own time off work. Away from their own families, lives, and everything else to be a part of something that doesn't involve their kid, I think is just super badass. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words, but it's super tough to see hard ass legit bikers doing things for kids that they have no relation to. Like, there's not a single one of us that is any relation to these kids other than they're mine now, They are family now, but at the time they were just kids that came to us, or we call them, whatever the case was. So it's pretty badass.
It's pretty funny that like on every ride that we did for Gavin, whenever these guys are telling a story or whatever, and somebody's listening, they always look around and then they kind of get a puzzled look on their face, and they're like, "Well, which one's the dad? Which one of y'all is the dad?" And they always look at Twister and they assume she's the mom, and they're like, "No, she, this is their parents. They signed him over to us for,
Yeah."
So.
Yeah, little Gavin's been signed over to me, where I've been his legal guardian with lawyers and everything for a month. Mm-hmm. So for a month, I'm his legal guardian. I can make all decisions and everything. And I did joke around that I was going to take him to Mexico and get a tattoo, but and
hey, it's only fair.
Yeah, exactly. And I told Gavin I'd get him a tattoo, and if Gavin would be willing to get it, I'd do it too. But he's still like, I don't know. Like, he's still young enough to know, like, that's probably gonna hurt like a son of a bitch.
It hurts good here. Send him my way. I'll talk with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of tattoos, right? What's that on the back of your hand?
That hand or that one? I am the Nordic Compass is that one. Yep. And that's Thor's hammer, and the numbers there are the exact place I was standing when I met my wife.
Nice.
So I have 100% Viking blood flowing through me. I don't have any ancestors that were any further south than northern France. And so they don't understand me when I go down south, and I'm like, my God, it is so hot here. Like, I feel like I'm gonna die. And they're like, this is a nice fall day. Stop being a pussy.
Like, it's only 93 and the humidity
the
is
devil's
low.
playground right here. This is nothing nice.
When we started discussing via Zoom or online or whatever, Gavin's first ride. His first ride was Gavin's the Texas tour. We took him to every Harley Davidson dealership in the state of Texas during July, and there was record-breaking heat that year. It was 100 plus degrees every day. Gavin rode every mile of that. But what was funny was the planning part of that, where Riot was talking about camping and these things, and I'm like, so I know what I think. I think I know what camping means. What do you mean by camping? Because it's gonna get it could be as cool as 90. And he's like, yeah, I don't even know that I'll bring my sleeping bag. It should be pretty warm there, huh? And I was like,
yeah, it was pretty warm.
Yeah, I was like, yes, right. I don't. This is your show. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the camping lasted 2 days.
Yeah. Now I know Iceman well enough that he'd just punch me in the face if I said that. We're gonna camp for a week, and I'd be like,
no.
I'd wake up and I'd be like I said, we're not ever camping again.
Yeah, it was warm.
Right. No camping in July or August south of the Mason-Dixon in tents.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no.
that's
That
a
was funny
fact.
too because Gavin, I think I got video of Riot asking Gavin. This is the second night of camping. We slept on the beach the first night. We almost got washed away when the tide came in, and then the second night we got all eaten up by mosquitoes, and so the
It was awful. Like
the
no
third
sleep.
day.
Starting an 8-day ride out. We don't get any sleep the first 2 nights.
Yeah.
It sounds about like Jason planning. That's what this sounds like.
Yeah.
So
Hey, wait a minute. Which one?
the third day, the third day, Riot asked Gavin, he's like, so what do you think about being a biker? And Gavin goes, this sucks. They're like, what do you mean it sucks? I got no sleep for 2 days. Of course, he was sleeping on the bike, so
and Gavin, we were in a tent, and Gavin doesn't want the door closed on the tent. So there's like mosquitoes in there. So I'm like, well, then you need bug spray on. So we're inside this little 2 or 3 man tent, little pop up, and I just take the off and spray him with off. And so he's coughing and gagging inside this tent. And I was like, I don't know, man, if the door is open, that's what happens. And then like, I don't know, I was getting shit together and there was a spider in there. And this is Texas, everything's ginormous. So there's a spider in there. And so I pulled out a gun and I said, I don't like spiders, man. I'm going to shoot that son of a bitch. Yeah. I said, Gavin, you're probably going to want to plug your ears. And then I was like, you know what? I have a kid in here. I can't be shooting spiders.
yeah.
So that's kind of like Gavin's got a different perspective about life because he's been raised now for the last 4 or 5 years with bikers.
Yeah.
His
He's probably the coolest kid in school. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But his view on life is just different because he just wants to go do things, and people are like, "Oh, you can't do that," and he's like, oh, "Bullshit, Iceman, let's go do this." All right, and they go do it.
Yeah, and that's in all seriousness, my role in all this, that those kinds of things are just, I was hit real hard with this organization whenever I did the Texas tour, the first tour. I didn't know these guys, and kind of a funny story how we linked up, but we got about halfway. We were about halfway through. We stopped at Lone Star. It was like the midway point of the whole trip. And this was been the second time that I got to meet his parents. The first time, of course, being the day one, right? And so I'd seen a couple things, a couple comments online, nothing severe, but just some things that you notice, And so, like, for me, I'm doing this tour with these guys. Who I didn't really know that well at the time, but Riot, Twister, and Hopper, they love this kid Gavin, and it's just like you can see it on them. This isn't like something they're just making up. They've been a part of this kid's life since his diagnosis. And so as that day was unfolding, it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm there with my son, who is healthy. And we're doing this thing for Gavin and the monsters, and it's like I'm watching, I'm videoing Jess and Manny. They're doing an interview with a local news station, and like I'm hearing the questions that are being asked, and I'm filming like off the side as a different angle, and I'm hearing the questions that are just kind of rapid fire, and it's just like, this guy's doing his job, and it's just, I don't want to say numb, but I mean, I'm just like, do you hear what you're asking? Like the questions that you're asking these human beings about their son, and it really hit me a lot differently. And I think a lot of it had to do with, the fact that my son was there, but, any opportunity that I can get to make some kind of impact in these kids' lives, and not just Gavin, but any of them, whether it's, just a text message or whatever. It means so much more than it normally would, if that makes any sense. So anyway.
And it's hard when you're doing things for a kid that when they have a terminal disease and the kids know it, they know it. It's not like they're shocked or they don't know what's going on. And once they get old enough to learn what the internet is, that they get the horrible news, that you're going to lose for anybody not familiar with DMD, it is a muscle wasting disease. It attacks your muscles and turns your muscles into fat until it gets to a muscle that you have to survive. Your heart, your diaphragm, things like that. That is, and it's brutal. And usually around age 9, they lose the ability to walk on average. Some are much sooner, some are a little bit later. But they lose their ability to walk, and they know that's coming. So to, Gavin, when he, we gave him a wish, knowing that you're not going to walk forever. What do you want to do? And he says, I want to see every dealership in the state of Texas. So that's why we did it, knowing that may be his last time to walk into dealerships. And, so I thought that was pretty, I get a little choked up just talking about it now. And that's been years ago, but to have a kid think like that and have to, that's what's on their mind, that's pretty crazy.
And my dad's a doc, and I've been around, a couple of sick folk in my day, but it seems like that kids have a crazy strength, and I don't know what it is. It's like as we get older, too much stuff gets to us. But I've seen, I've spent a little bit of time with some terminal kids before, and man, just the clarity and the strength that they have sometimes, it's like, wow, dude, there's no way I would be in this frame of mind, even this deep into it. And sometimes it really, I don't know, it pushes me,
Yeah.
As an adult, I don't know. As an adult, at 46 years old, if you told me, hey, next year you might not be able to walk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with that,
How old is Gavin now?
What's that?
How old is Gavin now?
12.
12. And what's the life expectancy?
Yeah. It changes. Like it had been like your 20s, your 20s, but there are people living into their 30s now, and I know there's a few even to their 40s. But I know one boy who died at 8, one who died at 18. So it's just where that disease, what it gets to. If it gets to your heart and attacks that muscle, it's really tough. And the diaphragm's another one that's really tough. And usually it's legs and then arms and your shoulder muscles and things like that. So,
and not only is it it affects every boy differently, right? And not only does it affect every kid differently, all the treatments affect the kids differently. Also, you can take kid A and give them treatment A, and kid B doesn't respond to treatment A. It's still a rare disease. It doesn't get a whole lot of funding, a lot of research. So, it's just, man, it's tough.
That's part of the goal with Mile Monsters is to raise awareness, because Duchenne muscular dystrophy is classified as a rare disease. And if it's classified as a rare disease, the level of money it gets for research is next to nothing. Where if it would just lose the rare category, it would join all these other horrible diseases that get at least some funding to get some answers and to stop it, So now things are privately funded. There's other organizations that do fundraising for treatments, and we help the kids with treatments, but we don't get involved with treatments. So there's so many different treatments, and I'm fortunate I've never had a kid who needed me to decide what the best was for his terminal disease. Like I'm like Iceman. My son's healthy, my daughter's healthy, and I've been really blessed. So I never knock a parent who's got to decide what's best, because I don't fucking know. Like I don't know what's best. What's best. I have little things in my head that I'd be like, yeah, I kind of would probably do that, but there's stem cell treatments, steroid treatments, no treatment. So there's a ton of different things, and money plays into effect. What insurance covers, what doesn't, what's research, has a lot of risk. There's so many variables that, we just don't get involved. Whatever the parents decide to do, we just support it, and that's that. We don't get into, we don't talk about treatments much. If kids need help with treatment to pay for it, we're there. But picking it, we're not the place. You're not going to go on Mile Monsters and be like, oh, those guys are really into DMD. Let's see what we can learn about the disease. You're going to be sorry. You're going to be disappointed. All you're going to learn is what how we ride like complete maniacs and do all this crazy shit for the kids. That's all you're gonna see, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing about treatments. We're not doctors, you know. I swung a sledgehammer and poured concrete for a living, you know. Like that's doesn't make me. I slept at a Holiday Inn though, so I guess I'm probably a little qualified. I feel like I could, you know, like help a little bit.
You're the Make-A-Wish side of things, right? And
Yeah.
you're shooting spiders in your tent, and taking kids on rides and doing stuff. How many Harley dealerships are there in Texas?
40.
Geez, okay, yeah, I was like, I didn't know if you meant like, there's like 6 of them. We took them to all of them. Like, no, 40 is pretty legit.
There's like 6 in Dallas.
Yeah, I think
That's probably fair.
at least 6. Crazy.
Yeah, in the DFW Metro.
Yeah.
Well, heck, what are there, Jay? What are there in Arkansas? 3 maybe.
4.
Is there 4? Okay, there's Pig Trail. I'm sure there's Fort Smith. There's Little Rock, and I don't know what the 4th would be.
Yeah, it's Texarkana.
Texarkana,
Yeah, and then 1 in Conway, 1 in Little Rock, and 1 in Fayetteville.
What was funny about that was that whenever we started off on the ride, we were told that there was only 35 or 34 or something like that.
Yeah.
So the original route that Hop had put together to get all those dealerships, we were missing, 4 or 5 dealerships or something like that.
It was 6, one whole owner group. It was Texas Harley in Fort Worth. That Adam something or other owns like 6 of them.
Adam Smith,
the whole
right?
group we were gone. That whole group Harley left off their list when
He's just not popular in the dealer network, I guess.
I guess.
Right.
They
piss off.
And that one where Gavin revved the green bike, that was one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all seen the movie, but we put together this movie, and there's a scene in there where, like, Gavin is such his own person. It's just amazing. Like,
where is it?
Huh?
Where can we find the movie? I want to find it so I can link it.
On our websites there, if you go to our website, you can link it there's a link on there. Otherwise, on our YouTube channel, Mile Monster.
All right, keep talking, Jason. I just wanted to find it while we were sitting here.
So I'm videoing Riot and Gavin. They're walking down like this main main walkway inside of this Harley. They got these bikes lined up. It's a pretty cool little place, or not little. It was a pretty cool place. And Gavin just turns and looks over to the salesman. He goes, "Hey, can I rev one of these up?" And it's like, that salesman was like, I don't know. But then the manager, he heard what was going on. He's, hell yeah, man, let's rev one up. Let's have a good time. Oh, it was awesome. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and he just it was a beast too. I think that's just the videos. I think on our main page on the homepage, scroll down, and I think you'll see it. I'm sure it's there.
There you go, right there.
I think you passed it. I think it was popping up right there.
There we go.
Where it says watch here.
Yep. So that's that, and that was really a special time, that making of that movie. And that's really where I met Iceman. That's where, met Chase, and it was just, the Lord works in mysterious ways, because Iceman came into my life when we needed a photographer and a videographer to make this movie. I had this in mind. I wanted to film it. I wanted to have it a documentary made for the family to have, so they would always have that for a lifetime. And it turned out above and beyond great. But we were blessed to get Iceman and Chase not only as great monsters and humans to help us out with our cause, but they're great with the video, the pictures and everything, and they can ride. Because I told Chase that, I go, it doesn't do us any good to bring a camera crew along that can't do over 65 miles an hour, because they're only going to film the start and the finish, and they'll never catch up. It's impossible. We ride fast.
Case in point, in the U.S. tour, the legit film crew from Crit, we went on a tour across the United States, and they kept flying out to where we were going to be, and they kept missing us. They could never catch us.
They were taking planes, and we would get there before them. And they're like, I can't believe you guys can ride from Texas to New York like that. What? Huh?
Yeah, that was hilarious. That one time we were on Times Square, and the first time I'd ever been down Times Square, but we were on Times Square, and it's just crazy the amount of people that are there, and this is like just a normal day, right? And then so there's, I don't know, 10 of us, 12 of us, however many bikes there was, and we all pulled over on Times Square. And then they're like, I don't even think we hit, we didn't even turn our bikes off before cops were already walking up to us. Riot's doing an interview with Gavin with that crit team. It was awesome. That was so funny, man. They're like, and then it was funny because we kind of, even if I'm not mistaken, we kind of had to do like a little loop around because like they weren't ready yet. And so, they couldn't keep up with us trying to.
They couldn't get there, but that was funny because the cops came over. I'm like, man, I can stall cops for, like, they want us to leave. If you just leave me alone, we're only going to be there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If the cop comes over to hassle me, I'm going to be there 15 minutes because I can talk like the best of them, and I'll bullshit my way right through this while Gavin does his interview, and that's exactly what I did.
Yes. Oh man, that was funny.
So we were there longer than if they would have just left us alone, we would have been done in 5 minutes, but instead we were there 10 or 15.
Now, I don't know the state where Gavin's at, but in Arkansas you can get a motorcycle license at 14. So he's coming up on that pretty quick.
He's in Texas, and if he can ride a motorcycle at any point, we won't be worried about any license.
Yeah.
He's with me, and you can take me away. That's all good.
Yeah. That's be the least of his issues.
Right.
Yeah, the last video I saw of Jason was him rigging up his like 5-point harness on the back of his bike to because didn't you say, I mean, a lot of times they lose like abdominal muscle first.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for them to hold themselves up. So getting the harness on the bike was a big deal about keeping them able to ride.
And being able to ride like we ride, so when we did the Talking to Jesus tour here not too long ago, we had them strapped in, we could take turns, we couldn't take the jumps too well, but we could take turns real well.
That hurt them a little bit when we did that, but
yeah,
it's the evolution of riding with the kids that, originally when they're young, we just put them on the back, but Gavin started in a booster chair.
Yeah.
I had a booster chair on the back of my bike out of their car, and I strapped him to the booster chair, and then he went to sitting on the back of my bike riding no problem. And then I put a strap, the Home Depot straps that look like a twist tie for bread, except the real thick ones, That's what I ran. I put armrest on my tour pack, and that's what we had. I wiped out in the desert in Utah, and we were riding off-road, and I hit some sand and dumped it, and so he got his first, as Gavin said, his first motorcycle crash.
Yeah,
so he was good, and I said it's more like it was more like aggressively tipping over.
Aggressively tipping over, I like that.
Like it launched me a little bit, but he was okay.
Yeah.
But he was like screaming. He goes, "I could have died," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's not how it works, man. Like we'll be in a much worse crash, and if you're worried about dying, you're good." But afterwards, he was super happy, that he did that. But we went from that, having him strapped in, to now he really needs the harness that Iceman put on his bike, and that's awesome because they lose hand strength where they can't hold on to your butt or hold on to you, whatever it is. So it's and that's what we do, and that's what we're famous for, is we just do whatever it takes. Like, whatever it is, that's what we'll do. We're getting a sidecar now, so we're up in the game a little bit, and we'll have a sidecar rolling for 2026, so we can take the kids rides with that.
How many of the kids have ridden on the back of a motorcycle or a motorcycle?
All of them.
Yeah, I think all of them.
Well, not Drew, right?
Let's see. No, I guess Drew would be the only one. One of them has not. He is, along with DMD. What's super common with the kids with DMD is to be in the spectrum. So one of the boys is really hard. His sensory issues are just off the charts, so he really struggles with that. So I think that's the only one that hasn't been on a bike. The rest of them have all been on bikes. We've went on rides, or somebody's been to their house, or
and fun enough too, their parents, like at the bash, Tam and Nicole, they both got on bikes,
Yeah, parents never ridden.
these parents are cool as shit, just letting their kids get strapped to the back of a motorcycle. That's unusual for the 2020s or whatever we're in nowadays, right?
Exactly. That's that. I tell the parents that it takes another level of parenting to be okay with, sending your kid out. But Gavin's parents are very adjusted to letting him live his best life, and he wants experiences. We're cramming as much shit in as we can, and take him we'll do whatever it takes to do whatever. And he's the kind of kid who wants to get out and do that. Some of the kids we help, they're not like that. They don't want to go do stupid shit. They want to play video games and have people stop by and hang out a little bit. And some of them really want to get into it and do cool shit. And so it's, every kid's a little different, and we just adjust it to fit their needs. Mm-hmm. And it's really, I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a great cause.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's nice when you go out and you're going to go ride 10,000 miles. It's so nice because everybody's on board with you doing it. My family, my wife, kids. I've missed all kinds of shit in my personal life because of what I'm doing for these kids. But in the end of the day, it's so good that it's easy to get behind, and support it. So it's just fun, it works out good for me. I'm gone probably a little more than I even like to be gone with Mile Monsters because we have so much going on all the time now, but it's all just so epic. And to see the smile on the kid's face, I don't know if you guys saw that last week where, we brought a kid from Northern Ireland to California for the Love Ride, and they went on a ride. They went and he was there to meet Gene Simmons,
his hero. The kid's an 80s rock.
Yeah, 80s fan, but he's been a Kiss fan since he was 2 years old. And I mean, I'm not talking about light Kiss. I'm talking about know every song by heart, know their birth dates, know everything about every member of the band, like hardcore. So we brought him to California to meet. We got it organized with one of the Monsters to meet Gene Simmons. Well, they went in the back and he met Gene Simmons, and no one knows for sure what happened. But Gene is like, dude, man, you can sing. Let's go on stage. Yeah. Brings him on stage, gives him a microphone, has the crew set up a microphone for him, and he sang with Gene Simmons on stage.
Hell yeah.
And Gene Simmons backed away to let him just sing a Kiss tune, and I'm like, that kind of shit is so next level epic. I can't even. It's hard for me to even just tell people how cool that is, or how to describe it at the level of cool it actually was.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Make-A-Wish could pull that off, honestly. That's
that's what's so cool about all the Monsters. They all have their own network, Big Daddy's another guy. He worked out a deal for Turbo to go see the Chiefs. The training day, they were out there. They took him up. I think they set him up for the weekend, right?
Yeah, we took him in June, and we went and met the Kansas City Chiefs, and they brought him around the field. Every player the whole team was with him for half an hour. It was just awesome.
Called him by name. That's so Big Daddy. He went to school, or he played for the coach,
Randy Reed. Yeah, in college.
Yeah,
Andy Reid was a line coach back then in the late 80s, I guess, early 90s, whatever it was, late 80s. So he played at BYU. So just stayed friends. So it's really cool, how that works out, where you keep the connections. And that connection turns out to be something epic for a kid, Go meet Patrick Mahomes and get a game ball and signed. And Patrick Mahomes doesn't hand out a lot of signed stuff. And he brought a practice ball. That practice balls in the NFL come from a game, and then they use them in practice. And so it's official game ball, gives it to Turbo and says, I want you to have the ball we used in the practice that you were at. So he gives it to Turbo without missing a beat. I'm like, hey, can you sign that for him? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. So he signs the football for him. They hand him a Sharpie. He signs the football for it. As soon as he got done with the football, Coach Andy Reid points to the football and says to Turbo, hang on to that. Because like there may not be another person on the planet with a signed football, a game ball from Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure there is, but your average Joe doesn't have them, put it that way.
Yeah.
So, so that was pretty cool.
The magic of the network.
Yep. Yeah, it's always like all things in life, man. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to be, it's getting connected with people. That's how life works. Look at, Chase and Jason meet each other by chance, set up a tent. Like, I don't know, was it by chance or is that shit just meant to be? I'm of the belief that shit is just meant to be. You are where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there. And if you take advantage of it or you don't, that's on you. But you guys could have easily just been next to each other, not said a word, just been, oh man, I don't care what that guy's up to. I don't care what that guy's up to. Just went your own ways and you'd never be none the wiser, but you didn't. And now there's a network that just rolls forward. And who knows where that goes, but whatever people do in their real life for work, for fundraising, whatever, it all brings it together, help each other out.
Yeah, I typically don't hang out with BMW riders. So
that's actually my excuse for not having participated in the Hoka is I'm sorry, I don't have a V-twin. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't hang out with BMW riders much either because I can't keep up. It's goddamn embarrassing when you're like, hey, can you just wait for me up there to get? I got an extra tank so I can catch up when you stop to take this or something. But just straight up keeping up. Sorry, man, but I tapped out at 105.
No, but you're so right. Like it's, somebody asked this question yesterday, I think, and I'm a part of Support Bikers. I'm one of the national ambassadors for Support Bikers. And in one of our groups, somebody asked, what's the best thing you've gotten from motorcycling? And I'm like, it's the people, right? Like I've done lots of cool shit on motorcycles, but it's the people that you meet and the networks that you build and the groups that you're a part of. And that, it's like after a few years even of it, you just never go somewhere that you don't know somebody, and it's awesome. And like, with Jason, and with Jay and like all the folks that we know in Missouri and Arkansas and Kansas and Oklahoma and everything. It's just like, there's always somebody, especially when you ride a weird ass bike like me. It's like, oh, it's that guy again, But it's just so great because like it's not even a joke. I'm kind of like, gosh, our entire circle of friends now is somehow related to motorcycles. Me and my wife, that's just like what we do, and it's been such a huge part of our life for so many years now that it's like, everything, the restaurants we go to, the people we hang out with, the events we attend, the stuff we do, the people we talk to, we have this live stream now. And it's all because it has all revolved around motorcycles and people who have a passion for motorcycles.
There's such great people involved with motorcycles. Like people think, dirty bikers, like I can't even tell you how many bars I've sat in where people don't even want to sit around you. And don't want their kids. I always laughed, especially club days, like people didn't want their kids sitting by us. I always laughed because I'd tell the guys I'm with, I'm like, there's only 4 people in this bar that would die to protect that kid. Mm-hmm. And they're the same 4 you don't want to sit by.
Right.
When the shit hits the fan, 90% of the people are running out the door. And I knew in that bar, there was 4 people that when the shit hit the fan would stand up and walk right towards it. Whatever the outcome was, we weren't fleeing jack shit. We're walking to the problem and solving the problem or explaining my case at the pearly gates. One of the 2 was coming. Right. It wasn't going to be, I ain't running out the door, I'll tell you that. And, so it's just crazy. But the people that I come across, they, sure, they might punch somebody in the mouth, for running their mouth at the bar, but they're also going to be the guy that shows up at 6 a.m, take a kid for a ride and go do a 1,000-mile ride to try to raise $1,000 to help our cause, and that having a big heart is super, super common in the motorcycle community, regardless of what kind of bike you ride. If it's Indian, a Harley, and people can argue about bikes all day long. I really don't give a shit, man. You ride a bike that you're down, I'm down with that, and your heart, people's hearts are just so solid in the motorcycle community. I just can't believe it.
I heard this. Somebody else said this, not me, but you never know where 2 wheels is going to take you. And I don't remember who said it or where I heard it, but ever since I heard it, I'm like, yeah, I'm stealing that until I get a cease and desist. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, exactly. But that's so true, and you don't know where it's going to take or who you're going to meet next. And I've met so many crazy people that I've met some really wonderful people that have really helped Mile Monsters out that have nothing to do with motorcycles, but I met them on a motorcycle while I was
Right.
doing something. I met
Exactly.
them at a bar. I met them at a gas station. I did something, had some kind of interaction with them, and they were interested enough to follow through with some cool stuff. So I think that's you can't get any better than that.
And you wouldn't have run into half of those or any of them if you wouldn't have been on your bike. Because
Yep.
you were out doing a thing. Even if it was just a Sunday afternoon ride, you run into somebody that turns into part of your network that solves a problem 6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy that you asked about who that was, Bouts Routes, that was
Mhm.
checking.
Yep.
I met him because I stopped in Alabama on the side of the road. I pulled over to put some gear on or take some gear off. I don't remember what I doing, but I like pulled into somebody's driveway and just put my kickstand down, and it was in the country. And that dude pulled up in a car, introduced himself, wanted to make sure I was all right, everything was cool. Introduced himself, said he put some rides together in Alabama, and has really turned around to promote what we do. We try to help him out, but he does a lot of great charity rides in the Alabama, Mississippi area, and has a great network of people. But just to happen to cross paths on the day he's driving by in the car, I just happened to stop to take gear off.
Mhm.
Again, one of those chance encounters that I just don't think are accidents.
Yeah.
That happened once in your life, I would say, oh yeah, that was just dumb luck. When things happen 100 times in your life, that's not luck, man. That's the stars lining up, and there's you believe what you want, but I think God's got a hand in what you're doing, and steers you a certain way. You want to listen or not, that's up to you, but there's you get a little guidance, put it that way.
Right. That's the guardrails. They
Yep.
just keep bouncing you around where you need to be.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to listen to a guardrail, but if you choose not to, you're gonna pay.
Yep. Yep. Guidelines can be written across. Guardrails, they come with consequences.
Yeah, hard ones too.
So
Jay,
what
well,
do y'all
yeah.
got
Oh,
planned
go for it.
real quick?
What's that?
What do y'all got coming up?
We're pretty much wrapping up for this year. We do a little Christmas fundraiser we're gonna have to get the kids some Christmas presents.
Okay.
So that's not a lot of riding. That's just more online presence and promoting that. That's going to be coming out here Thanksgiving time. And
Where
then
can people find out about that?
what's that?
Where can people find out about that?
Most of the stuff we put directly on Facebook. It'll be on the
Okay.
website as well. But our Facebook, anything social media, Mile Monsters Inc.
Okay.
You can find us. Facebook has a group and a page because I had a group long before I started Mile Monsters.
Yeah.
And when I started a nonprofit, they make you have a page. So we have a group that's called Monsters and Heroes, and we have a page that's Mile Monsters Inc. And it's really, we do a lot of Facebook stuff. I guess the people that are really into it are a little bit older, and Facebook is the ticket. Anybody in their 40s, they're using Facebook, and it's easy to use. And but this year coming up, we're going to get a lot more into Instagram and some other ones that we're on Instagram, but I just don't use it all the time. And I'm just an old biker construction worker, man. I'm not a tech savvy dude. I can turn shit on and post stuff, but that's it. Any editing crap like that, I do my best, but my best isn't great.
Have y'all looked into maybe starting a Discord for the younger cats?
Yeah, we have. The younger cat, let's see, is it that way? That younger cat started it. And it got rolling, then quickly got to the side thing. But I was just thinking that very thing that I think we should fire that back up. So thanks for bringing that up, because I do like that way. It's one of those things you got to get used to doing it.
Yeah.
And if you don't get used to it being your jam, you kind of then it's really hard, to look at this or
So
that.
everybody defaults to what's easy, right? What's
Right.
natural to them, right? And so I was talking with Mandy earlier, Frosty, and we were jokingly talking about we have, between her and I, we have so many different group chats in Facebook. It's just holy shit,
And
But
texting, texting is just natural to me because I was of the age where phones came out. We went to texting,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but my kids are younger. And what do? They don't. I text my kid, they don't answer me for 2 days, and they're like, "Well, I don't look at my text." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You don't look at your text? Like, is that the main thing on your phone?" My kid's like, "No, man. I'm like, I got Snapchat, I got this, I got that. You know, if you want to talk to me, hit me up on this." I'm like, I don't even know what the hell they're talking about, let alone have it on my phone. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I'll just call you and leave you a message. You can call me back 3 weeks later.
Let me know when you check your answering machine.
Yeah. When they were younger, it was easy because I could just shut their bank card off. Now they're goddamn adults and they run their own shit. I don't have any control over their bank. I can just go online and stop their debit card. It'd take them 5 minutes. They'd call me. Yeah, my debit card's not working. Yeah, I just want to talk to you about school, you know?
Yeah. Nowadays, it's like, you know, a text message is something you like. People that have your phone number are so limited. You know, like I don't give out my phone number. Like, hit me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. But like, unless I like know you, like a text message means something needs to be answered. You know, like, whatever. So, gosh, like Jason. Good gosh, I guess we've talked a little bit on Facebook, but it's just like Instagram. He's the guy that randomly sends me like, you know, this random ass reel, you know, once a week, and you know that group of friends kind of thing. And, it is funny how things work nowadays, where it's like you're messaging in 7 different places, you know, like to different groups of people and everything.
Like StreamYard's getting way better about letting you get to all those platforms. Like you know, with a show like this, it used to be a pain in the ass, but their latest update I just saw makes it a lot easier to hit a lot of that. So
Instagram was one that they held off on for a long time. It looks like that they just recently added that, I think.
Yeah, they added it. They added it last year, but it was a big pain in the ass. You had to go in. You couldn't just click on it and do it like the rest of them. You had to go do a bunch of crap, and which that means Riot ain't doing that.
Yeah,
bunch of crap equals that ain't working. So
yeah, I don't know if y'all can see, but that's a 40 unanswered text, 700 and something unanswered emails.
I thought you were showing me a
throw
picture.
that some bitch away and get a new one, man.
I thought you were showing me a picture of my wife's phone because that's what hers looks like. Text messages, I don't know. But I'm the opposite. You're talking about nobody having your phone number. The whole world has my phone number. It's right on our website. You know, it's like I have such an open book. Like I get text all the time. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, Jay, there's 0 unread text messages, 0 emails, 1 Instagram message, and 2 Facebook messages.
73 unanswered on Facebook and 6 on Instagram.
I don't like the little red numbers. I have a thing about it, you know.
Yeah. And 34 apps that need to be updated.
And I don't know where the music's coming from, but it's still.
I don't know. Man, that just makes me want to go back to drinking. Just the thought.
There we go. That's exactly it, Frosty, right there.
It gives me a panic attack. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, I don't even know how to deal with that.
Exactly.
Well, my problem with text is that I'll read the text, and since I'm a truck driver, I got my headset on, and I'll read the text and just throw the phone down and call the person, you know, and so the text never gets answered. Or it's some customer trying to get a hold of me, and I'm not answering texts from customers. Sorry, that's not happening. I don't care. You call me back, brother.
My problem is I always reply to the text and then don't send it.
Yeah, oh, dude,
I'll
too?
reply and then throw the phone down. And then the next time I want to text Iceman about something totally unrelated, 3 days later, I'll look at my phone and be like, oh, shit. Then I hit send. I go, yeah, that was from last Thursday. My bad.
Same.
Or I'll get a phone call. Hey, about last. So I texted you a response last week. I just didn't send it. So I just thought I'd call you and tell you what I was going to send you.
Yeah, exactly.
I got something new now.
Hey guys, we're the boomers now. I don't know if you know that.
When I have to find my music on Classic Rewind, I'm like, shit. That's old.
Our local classic rock station, a little while back, I heard Linkin Park, and I was like, whoa, you guys are pushing a little too far forward, all right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not ready for Linkin Park to be on the Classic Rewind yet, man, dude. Like, that's still fresh new music. I don't care if they are retired.
Yeah, the first time I heard Nirvana on the classic rock station, I'm like, oh, come on, man.
The first time I started hearing those things happening, I legit thought my local radio station, when I used to listen to local radio, I thought they had changed platforms.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, when did they start playing new shit? Yeah. Oh, they're not.
Hey,
Yeah.
I get out my driver's license and I look at that date and I'm like, yeah, I guess that was a good minute ago.
Right.
I mean, I can remember when I felt weird about Guns N' Roses popping up in Classic Rock Station.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I still do.
Right.
I'm like, are they not in they're not a show coming up this weekend?
So you asked about what we got coming up next year. I have something that I've been working on that is finally going to come off the ground next year, and I haven't told anybody about it. Really, just I got a handful of people about it. Riot knows, but I'm going to do this thing called Mural Madness. Well, and so before I get into that, little teaser there, right? So Monsters usually do some kind of fundraising for for Mile Monsters for the kids, and so that usually pairs with Hoka Hey or whatnot. So usually there's some sort of fundraising going on a broad level or individual level. Something's usually always happening. So next year, my fundraising is going to revolve around Mural Madness. And so what that is it's going to be an event that runs from April through November. And the very basic of this premise is, you sign up, you get a flag, and then you go take a picture of the flag and your motorcycle in front of a mural, and you submit it through the app, and you get a point. The guy with the most points at the end of the year, they win. The top prize is going to be a minimum of $5,000. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So first place will be $5,000. Second place will be, what did I do? $1,500 or $1,000, and then third place will be $500. I'm going to do quarterly prizes and stuff like that. And
if you're fourth place, you have to pay first place.
Yeah. Hey, that's in the fine print,
Should have
man.
rode harder. Should have rode harder. You're so close, you start getting penalized after fourth place. Fifth place has to pay second. That's how Mile Monsters stays
It's just a
productive.
Ponzi scheme. This is just a Ponzi scheme.
The bottom to the top.
That's how
Mile
it stays.
Monsters like Ponzi scheme.
So Jason, is that any mural? Like, are they specific, or is it like if I just find a mural, I get a point?
Any mural. Now, there's going to be 3 different ways that you can get points. Actually, there's going to be more. But so there'll be a monthly mural, and I have all of this already figured out, and it's already posted. I just haven't posted it yet. But there'll be a monthly mural. If you find a mural with these certain elements in it, you'll get 2 points for that mural for that month, right?
Gotcha.
And then the weekend mural, you'll need to submit with either a spot wallet track or a Rever track so that I know you did it over the weekend, and those will be worth 5 points. The purpose of that is to get people out on the weekends so that the guys that are retired, they don't just streamline the whole deal through the whole year. It kind of gives the 9-to-5 guys a fighting chance to come away with some of that top prize stuff. So, but I've been talking about Mural Madness since 2021, and it just keeps getting shelved and whatnot, and so it's like the perfect vehicle for me to fundraise. It's like everything is going to go back to Mile. After it pays for itself, it goes to Mile Monsters, and then so after let's say I think it's 100 riders. If we start getting more than 100 riders, the pot will go up. So it's going to be an equal share between back to the riders and then back to Mile Monsters. So, if we had like 200 people, I think that prize would be up to like 10 grand or something like that, 11, something like that. So, but yeah, so I haven't, everybody here that's listening is the first to know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's America's 250th anniversary in 2026. It's Mile Monsters 5-year anniversary. So we're combining a lot of that, and we're doing a ride of Monster America, where we're going to have riders over the course of one weekend ride in every single state. So do 1,000 miles in every state, and they're all going to put it on a tracker at the same time. So you'll be able to watch over a 3-day period, the entire country get filled up with colors as they fill in these maps.
I feel really bad for the guy in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I have a feeling that dude's going to be me. jump at doing Rhode Island, so I think I'm gonna have to go up and do Rhode Island. So
Right.
I
I
know
would,
exactly.
but I mean, it's so far. I don't think anybody could ride that far from Texas. So
I'll fly you up. I have a bike ready for you. I'll park it at the Rhode Island airport so you can start fresh.
It's already got its Harbor Freight lights on the front. You know,
Yeah,
it's ready to
exactly.
go.
It'll be all ready to go. Rhode Island, you don't need any lights. You're never out of the city. If you're out of the city, you're in Connecticut.
Is there 1,000 miles of roadway in Rhode Island?
I'm not sure, but it'll be tight.
Jay, you are tempting me to do nerdy shit right now.
I was wondering how long it was going to take. It only took me an hour and 34 minutes to talk you into it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know how wide Rhode Island is, but it can't be more than a couple hundred miles. I would think it's like
I think it's less than that.
It's like the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. You know, that's called the state.
DFW is probably bigger than Rhode Island.
I've been to Rhode Island a few times, and if you stay the west side, there's still some country over there. I know that.
Yeah.
When I'm doing any rides where I got to hit all 48 states or something, you know, that's when I've done it.
I lived in Westerly, Rhode Island for a couple of months till the local police chief told my mama that I need to go somewhere else.
This state's just not big enough for you and the popo.
It must not work because there is no ride around Rhode Island in the IBA database. So
there's several states that aren't in the IBA database for the ride arounds.
Yeah.
You know, and so like the idea of that though is like if there's a road that actually mimics the perimeter of the state.
Yeah. Well, I assume in a state the size of Rhode Island, you probably have to do a lot of back and forth kind of around and everything.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, you're going to go to Providence and then just bang around because there's a bunch of water and the little boot of Rhode Island. Like when you go down that, it's like, yeah, that's nice. But you're going to be doing 35 miles an hour for 4 hours. So,
right.
Enjoy your day.
24 hours to get 1,000 miles.
Island, you just have to have your suicide hotline, you know, on your favorites on your phone because by 3 p.m, you're going to be contemplating, you know, ending it right then.
Shit, Jason. I mean, the Arkansas one took me 22 hours. I mean, granted it's almost 1,300 miles, but yeah, I was missing a wheel bearing. We don't want to talk about that, but still.
Well, hold on. According to AI, Rhode Island has approximately 1,100 miles of highway.
Perfect.
So you just got to ride all.
Did I just hear him volunteer, Ryan?
Right, Jason.
So that is not exactly. I think. Hold on. I think.
He's got his bag of chips. He's crinkling it. It's breaking up, guys. It's breaking up.
Well, that's the show, everybody. Good night.
Losing signals.
I'm losing.
That's awesome.
Well, Jay, do we want to wrap up? Or are you good?
Something's wrong with my camera.
We can keep talking. I don't want to keep you guys or Jay. I don't know if you got a kid to pick up or whatever tonight, but we can hang out or we can end. I don't want to keep everybody longer than we need to, but it's up to you. I don't want to also be a buzzkill and just offer to kill it. So
you just got to reach up and just hit the end button.
Right.
Like you just do it whenever you want, and that'll be much better. Like just have your ending, just stroll up and be like, I want to do it right. And Iceman are thinking right now.
Jason, I do have a question for you because we never actually talk as human beings. We just message, you know.
That's what the kids
with
do,
your
right?
leg. So how long were you out with your leg? I kind of followed it, but I didn't know the timeline of like how long it actually took you to recover from that.
So from April until August.
Oh wow, yeah.
So like the end towards the end of April and I think mid-August or so. And so mid-August, I had I don't know that I would say a clear to ride, but I decided to stop going back to the doctor at mid-August, right? And so but I like to this day right now, what the problem is like whenever I'm doing multi-day consecutive 1,000-mile rides, like on day 2, day 3 or whatever, I'm getting a lot of pain and, you know, I still have a lot of swelling and everything like that. So I'm just, you know, I'm hoping I can just keep, you know, pushing that, you know, goal a little further and just kind of make my leg get its shit together. But nerve damage and all that other shit, it's going to be a while. But
crazy how long it takes.
Yeah.
To heal.
Yeah. I mean, like broken bones or cuts, like easy, done, But yeah,
I mean, it took me like a solid, I don't know if Sarah's even still on here, but probably like 12, 18 months to like honestly get back to pretty normal after I'd like shattered my elbow and fucked my shoulder up and stuff, and so even to this day, I mean, I have like my palm is numb. Like, there's just when you get nerve shit going on, it gets weird.
Yeah. They don't feel it or it hurts. One of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, people like nerve damage just means you're like, it's like, oh, cool, I don't feel it. No, it just feels weird and bad. That's what nerve damage usually means.
Yeah, exactly. And it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you say, oh, I can't feel my hand. Like people are like, oh, no big deal. But that's annoying because it's a funky. You expect to feel it when you hit it on things, and all of a sudden it just like that dead feeling is awful. I hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes a while to heal up. That's for sure. It's why you got to take it slow. Otherwise, you just slow that process down. Instead of taking 4 months, it takes 8.
Yeah.
He just gave you sideways advice there, Jason. He was like, hey, why don't you relax and let it heal, brother? Like,
now he's pretty good, but I was giving him advice at the time because unfortunately, I've had my fair share of injuries and I've had a few, or I guess one nasty wreck, but like I'm like him, a little bullheaded where I'm like, good enough, it's good enough.
It's not bleeding. It's got to be okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I've been around the block enough to see horrible shit happen to people from injuries like that. That's why I told him when it happened, we were on the same rally, and I told him, I said, dude, I'd be done. I'd go to the doctor. I'd get that shit squared away because that's the kind of injury that gets infected. You lose your leg. And once they cut your leg off, they don't say, oh, when the infection goes away, we'll put your leg back on. Like, you're fucking done with, you don't have that anymore.
I didn't realize how close I actually was to losing my foot. And so like, I thought it was kind of like they had mentioned it a couple of times. And I thought it was not a joke, but I didn't know how serious they were when they were saying it, cause it was like, they were looking at me like, so what happened was I had this Yeti thermos on my bike on the crash bar. And then, so I got a 13 size boot and I'm in gravel and I'm like, I'm doing a U-turn and I'm in neutral and I'm walking my bike. My foot gets caught underneath there and the bike tips over and it just lands on my leg. Not a big deal. I get up, I pick my bike up. I'm not even limping, right? I get my bike situated. I go to a car wash to sleep at. And so I set up my mat and everything. I get everything all, ready to go. I feel a little swelling, but I don't feel like, it's a big deal. At this point, it's 4 a.m, or it's midnight. And then, so I'm like, whatever, no big deal. Nothing, no cuts, no bleeding. No, I was like, just whatever. So I lay down, I sleep, I wake up, like 15 minutes before my day. I'm sitting there on my mat and I'm planning my day for the rally. Like I'm going to go, I'm going to go hit these points. I'm going to go get this is the way I'm going to go, and I was actually pretty stoked. And then, so I go to stand up and I just fell right back down. I was like, what is that? I was like, holy shit, I can't put any pressure, anything on my leg at all. So at this point, I'm up at around Fort Worth, around that area, and it's 4 a.m. And so I'm like, man, I don't know, I just had a similar situation, something close on the Hoka Hay, it was like, I don't want to call it too soon and then actually still be able to do it, And so I'm like, well, I'm going to get all my shit together and I'm going to go get gas and I'm going to see how I feel, And then, so I ended up, there you go. That's exactly the car wash that I was at.
I'm that guy.
Yeah. So, and I actually still got my sleep bonus, but, so I go to this gas station and, I couldn't get off my bike. I was like, I was just, it was just horrible, And so I was like, all right, well, I got to get to the house, I just got to get done. So, I get back, I filled up my reserve tank and I filled up my main tank, and those 2 tanks was just enough gas to get me to my my girlfriend's house. And so as I'm riding down towards her house, I'm texting her and like I'm trying to like be easy with the information, you know. So I'm like, hey, look, everything's okay, but I'm gonna need you to take me to the hospital when I get there. What do you mean? And I'm like, I'm also doing, 100 miles an hour and I'm lane splitting and I'm holding my left leg, so I can't answer a whole lot of questions, So yeah, so that picture that you just showed, that was whenever there was not even a bruise when I started in the morning. And by the time I got to her place, it started getting discolored. And then I get to the hospital, I get to this minor care. It wasn't the hospital. I get to the minor care. And then I'm like, hey, I just want to make sure nothing's broke. I can't put any pressure on it, but yeah, that's what it looked like.
Swelling starts and I'm not able to walk.
yeah. It didn't look bad. I mean, there's a big, huge, it's swollen, obviously, but it didn't look bad, Yeah. And so, so I'm at the minor care and they're doing x-rays and I'm just talking, every time I go to, anytime I'm in a hospital or anything like that, I'm usually always joking with the people that are working there, And so, they're like, you need anything for pain? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And they offered like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, stop offering me this shit. I'm fine. I just, just need to know what's going on. And then just like that, my pain just went off the charts. And then so I was like, hey, go get that bitch back in here. I need something for this pain. This is horrible, And so
why did y'all tell me it was supposed to hurt?
God. His girlfriend, who is a very nice, sweet lady. I've met her,
So so they're giving me these injections, right? And then so this goes on for a little while and nothing's working. And then so I sent a picture of what my foot looked like then to my primary care. And I said, hey, they're talking about sending me to this trauma clinic, this trauma hospital, something about compartment syndrome. And I'm pissed off because I'm like, they're going to send me to some fucking hospital. They're just going to rack up a bill. This is, and it's so my doctor tells me, he goes, go to the hospital. You could lose your foot. And then so like my whole mood, I'm like, get those people in here. What are we waiting on? So I was like, I told him I'm texting my doctor and I'm like, my mindset's completely different now. And I'm like, dude, well, I've been here an hour, now what? He goes, if there's not an ambulance there to pick you up in 15 minutes, waddle your ass outside and call 911. You're going to lose your foot. And then about that time, the EMS, the ambulance showed up to take me to BAMC. And so, yeah, I didn't realize how serious it was, until they're cutting,
Yeah, it was real fucking serious. Like most of it was videos or like reels, I think you posted. And I don't want to
gnarly ones, dude.
People out or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you had to have that whole thing cut open and chunked out and blah, 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 blah. Like it was. I remember waiting, like seeing those blurred reels pop up and be like, oh, geez, we got another one. Here it goes.
And it's such a stupid story, man. I've been in wrecks. I've been broken bones. I've had, like the Hoka Hay was a cool story, at least. I freaking tipped over on my bike. My bike landed on my leg as I was walking a U-turn, and I almost lost my freaking leg, it's like, or my foot, I'm like, how boring is that?
Yeah, but 1,000 pounds put into one direct place, man. That's a lot of weight. A fully loaded bike, is what gets you.
Yeah. And it, the adrenaline and the moment and everything, you don't feel it till a day later, right? Like that's kind of how all that shit works. And it's no bueno. I mean, good gosh, like I say, I mean, April to August, right, was like the actual true downtime, like for the main thing. And now, of course, you got to recover otherwise because, I mean, you lost a huge chunk of your leg, basically.
Yeah. I was off the bike from April to the end of April. So from the end of April to middle of August, I couldn't, I was no motorcycle riding. And in fact, the first time I got back on the bike was right before I took Gavin to bike night. and it's
And
so
you still cleared 50K for the year, though, right?
oh yeah, I mean that's I'm probably more than that now, but yeah, but so I took Gavin to bike night in Houston. And I showed up when I blew through a stop sign right before we pulled in there. And so when we come pulling up, there's cops coming up behind us with the lights on. So I got some shit for that. It was pretty funny. But yeah, that was like the first time I'd been on a bike in since my wreck or since my accident.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest question with your accident, looking at those pictures, were how does somebody that lives in South Texas have legs that are so goddamn white? Like, you'd think you'd get some sun living down there. Like, do you ever like?
Dude, I sleep in pants.
Me, like I ride a pretty good bit, but I'm like covered head to toe.
No way.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
right.
white. It's pretty white.
Yeah, no, I know how. I would be done if I got any sun on my legs, dude. I wouldn't be able to walk. Me and Gavin would be fighting over the big chair.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's something else too. We didn't get to talk. I wanted to say about this last tour that we did for Gavin. Riot had mentioned earlier how it's always an evolving deal. Whatever it takes. So Riot fixed his bike up to he had this flatbed type deal put on his bike so that he could take a mobile power chair for Gavin. And so like so at the end of the tour last year, we had to get him a wagon. And so we'd take him off the bike and we'd put him in the wagon and then we'd pull him around pull him around with the wagon. So then this year we got an actual little fold up power chair. And so, it was damn cool. I can't wait to go through that footage. It was damn cool to see like all of us roll up, and then so like everybody, they jump on their job. They'd help, Riot get the chair off and help me with Gavin. And just like everybody had, their own role and doing stuff. And it's this whole operation just so he could go check out a church, or whatever, And it was pretty damn cool to see going down the road. You see, one bike going by with a wheelchair on the back of it and another bike going by with a kid on the back of it. That's pretty epic shit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Mark said you guys have got the Northeast covered, right? So just in that conversation about, the points of interest, you've already got it covered apparently. So you're good to go.
Mark.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of them. I was looking for a picture, but I don't have one on my computer. I do everything from my phone, so I'm like, I wonder if I have that on my. I was going to see if I had a picture of the wheelchair, that we had, because it was a regular power chair that we got, so it's motorized and has a little joystick on. That was it. So it really worked out really cool. Like we'd stop, and time it took him to unbuckle Gavin, I'd have the wheelchair set up, and we would tag team him off, or Ice would pick him up and put him in the thing, and he was off on his own, which gave him all kinds of freedom. So that part was really, really badass.
Now, like I said, it's super cool. Like just thinking about it from, helicopter parenting or whatever over the past few decades, I'm like, it's wild to me that the kids' parents, which I know they want them to kind of like live the life they have, if they could die at the age of 10 or 20 or whatever, kind of let them do what they want to do. But it's really cool that the parents are super cool with that too. Like that to me, you don't hear many stories about parents being like, yeah, throw my 10-year-old on the back of your bike,
Yeah.
Like that's a super cool thing to do for sure.
And the first ride we went on, like I always tell Gavin, like we're doing live stuff at the end of the night, we can't talk about how fast we're riding and anything like that, and so
it's all in Mexico. Yeah.
So I told him he was talking to his mom on the phone, and at the end of one night, and he goes, "Hey mom, you know how fast we were going today?" And I looked over at him like I thought he was gonna say like 70 or something, or not even talk. And without even hesitation, he goes, "We're doing 110."
I was like, wait, you trained him on the bike lane, the shoulder.
Yeah.
You didn't train him on the answer is always 50 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
Like that is the speed we were going.
He's got it dialed in when we're doing anything live on social media, but talking to mom, then he's like, I'll tell mom. Like,
Yeah.
she's not here, and what's she gonna do? And that was Gavin's idea to go on that ride. You know, he comes up with these ideas and just reaches out to me, and then he wants to do this, and I'm like, Gavin, have you talked to your mom about this? Like, this is a pretty big ride. You're 9 years old, and or he was 8.
Yeah.
He was 8 at the time of that. So 8 years old, and we're going to take for 8 days, 40 dealerships, 5,000 miles. I was like, you talked to your mom about that? And he's like, no, I think we're better just to plan that. And we'll just plan that, and then we'll just have to tell her about it at some point.
Yeah, we'll plan it and then tell her.
Yeah, all right. Now you're a kid after my own heart for sure.
Yeah. No, he embraced the living his best life for sure, which I appreciate. You know, I mean, it's just like,
but it's really cool. Like, his parents are really down with it, and really cool with letting him do this and trusting us. But with that trust, like, we actually love Gavin like he's our own kid. And, you know, I joke around about, you know, riding aggressively and doing all these things, but yeah, we're riding fast on open roads, and we're taking the motorcycle lane. But the motorcycle lane is, we're not sitting in 100-degree heat with a kid on all kinds of treatments and everything else. You know, yeah, there's the chair. That was when I first got there, because it was still wrapped in tarp. It rained the whole way down there for me, but it was, you know, so it's
the other nerd in the stream is helping me out with my nerd stuff I got to do.
Nerds stick together.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But, you know, like, they're very trusting with us, but we love Gavin, and, you know, we would never put him in harm's way. You know, we put him, you know, there's an inherent risk to riding a motorcycle, no doubt, like,
right,
no matter what, but we're not going to be doing stupid shit. And he's riding on the back of motorcycles that people are legit some of the best riders I know.
I mean, you're probably preaching to the choir here, but there's a legit risk in walking out your front door every day. You know,
Yeah.
you can't live that way. So, you know,
well, being careless is not the same as, you know, taking risk. You know what I mean? And that was one of the things that, you know, was very apparent to me the first time I met this crew, was that, you know, Gavin wasn't just some, you know, like, you know, attraction, just some bullshit deal. I mean, it was like, you know, they made sure that everything was taken care of as if that kid was theirs, you know? And so, like, you know, that's
better
not
than if he was mine. If he's mine, I'd tell him to suck it up, and, you know, you're gonna have to take this. Yes, I know you're hungry. I don't give a shit. I treat him better than my own. When he's hungry, we stop and eat. We kind of let him run the show, and we really do let him. He really does run the show. Like, he tells us when he doesn't want to go, and, you know, his disease dictates some of that, and his moods dictate some of it. But we're on these rides for the kids.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make them do something that they're not having fun with. You know, we're not taking them out of school and away from their families just to say they did it. This is so they can do something epic. And
I bet you have fun though too.
What's that?
I said, I bet you have fun though too.
Oh my God. I tell this all the time, man. I've had some of the best times I've ever had on a motorcycle, doing things with Gavin and doing things with Elfie when we did rides, all the kids. But I mean, just in general, I've had some cool ass experiences. You know, I met Patrick Mahomes. I stood everything that Turbo got to see. I was right there. You know, I went and swam with the manatee, you know, in Florida last year. We did the ride around Texas, like going to those churches that we just did. I would have never in a million years taken the time to do that. But because Gavin wanted to, I did. And it was awesome. Like, I would highly recommend doing what we did. It was so fun. It was super cool, but just one of those things I would have never done. You know, I've been on TV. I can't tell you how many times I've been on TV because of Gavin doing interviews or doing specials. We did a telethon down in Miami where we went down there and surprised them. And so I've had awesome experiences. And the very first year of Mile Monsters, I did a ride called the I Spy. I had 20 kids give me sites around the country they wanted to see but can't. And I set out to do, I forget how many miles it was off the top of my head, but I set out to see all these sites and do everything these kids wanted to see. and I brought them back a little piece of dirt from every site. I collect dirt. It's a crazy thing, a whole nother story, but I collect little things of dirt like this big. I wish I had one around, but they're sitting on my shelf. But anyhow, I brought them back a little thing because my bike was packed. It was cold, but that turned out to be one of the coolest rides I ever did. I mean, I went to Folsom Prison, the Golden Gate Bridge, the San Diego Zoo, the flats, the Salt Flats. One kid wanted me to stay where a serial killer had been. So I went to Houston and slept at the Killing Fields. It was probably the creepiest place I've ever slept in my life. And I did that, to take pictures and do a video in the morning for the kids. But Nashville, went to the Grand Ole Opry, went to Disney World, Disneyland, where they make The Walking Dead, where they film The Walking Dead. We went to that. Like, those are the kind of things that kids just gave crazy list of things they wanted to see. I don't even know. I couldn't believe some of them weren't even kids from America. They were kids from Europe. And those are things that they wanted to see. Madison Square Garden, Central Park, so I went all over the country in the course of 9 days. I think it was 10 days, 12,000 miles, if I remember right, something like that. But it was just, that's the kind of thing when you say I got to do some cool things, that's the kind of cool shit that, I couldn't even make that up on my own if I wanted to. Those are just super cool things. So I'm super blessed. I love my role as the leader of Mile Monsters because I have a front row seat to the highlight of their life, which is very moving. There's things you can't even put into words, how the look on their face, when the smile they get on their face when they get to do these cool things and you're there helping them. It's just beyond epic. I mean, me and Frosty Rider taking Gavin out of a boat and putting him in the water to swim with the manatee. And they get all kinds of rules, not supposed to touch the manatee. I told Gavin, I said, what the deal about rules? Put him in there, and I told him, a manatee comes by, you pet that son of a bitch. Like, you might not ever get another chance, so what, they'll kick us out, who cares? And nobody even cared, like, you're not supposed to stand on the bottom. I told him, like, I'm standing on the bottom because I got to hold Gavin a certain way. And it just worked out great, but and they were super nice at that place. So yes, we've gotten to do some super cool things, riding your motorcycle through Times Square, Grand Canyon, Chicago, up northern Minnesota, all in the Great Lakes, all in one trip. That was, those are things that your average biker dreams about doing, riding his motorcycle across the country and seeing all these cool sights. I've done it countless times with kids and for kids, and that, I live a blessed life. I'll never, ever complain about anything I have to do. Not even once, because people would die to have the problems I have. I got to get my bike ready to go on a 10,000 mile ride. Like people dream of getting their bike ready to go on a 10,000 mile ride. And I have to do that several times a year, so it's pretty blessed.
That's a lot, gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
That's a good period at the end of the paragraph there on that one, right? That's an awesome send off.
Yep, that's awesome. I thank you guys for having us.
Man, thanks for coming by. Thanks for spreading the word about what you guys do. And y'all in the comments or later on, share the Mile Monster stuff with anybody that you think might benefit from it or anybody that might help out.
Yeah,
that's. And I know we're winding down here, but that really is a huge help. I focus on the awareness part, probably more than I do the raising money part. It doesn't cost anything to share. A buddy of mine, Big Smitty, or Mr. Smitty now, he's lost a whole bunch of weight. That dude, he works a stupid amount of hours. He's got 5 kids. He's always working, but he's always shouting us out. He's always giving us props. He's always trying to connect, people to come across our path. That's a huge help, the awareness part, Yeah,
it doesn't cost anything to share things or to talk about it or whatever, give a kid a shout out, and these kids hear the name online and hear people talking about them. It just picks them up when they're having a shitty day. And there's lots of shitty days when you have a terminal disease, a lot of shitty days. So we try to put those shitty days in the past and give them this little boost of goodness. So, and doing this is awesome because we get more people talking about us, more people checking us out, joining us on rides, donating, doing whatever people do that to help is donated things for our raffles. There's all kinds of ways to help, and we appreciate it all. So I thank you guys again, and I look forward to seeing your show. I didn't know anything about this, so I'm really, for me, it's like another thing I get blessed with, like another avenue I learn about, another cool show to watch and tune into, and that kind of thing. So I dig it, man. I like it a lot.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
guys, it is 2 hours deep. So
we're out of here.
Before we break off on another tangent, thank you everybody that's been in the comments and everybody that may watch this in the future. Definitely find a way to share, help out, donate, whatever you can do. These guys are on to a really nice thing, and there's no reason not to support these guys. Chase, it's been a pleasure, sir. Riot, Jason, thank you very much for hanging out and making my job easy.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
It's been so long, my mouth's quit. Hold on, I got to do this manual. This is crap. All right, one of these days I'm gonna figure out how to end this thing properly, like all professional and stuff. I'm Jay. He's Chase. This is the Chase and Jay Show. Take care of one another out there, because won't nobody else. And not the right button.
Oh, we did it again.
I did every time.
It's like South Park. Like we got to kill Kenny a different way every time we try to end the stream.
The Chase and Kenny Show.
You're right.
Pull up on me, break, checking the bird.